Okay, so this presentation, this title is going to confuse a lot of people, especially coming from a behavior change specialist, a mindset coach. Many people think that, you should be, you know, pushing out positive vibes. But here's the thing, positive thinking is overrated. If you've ever caught yourself clinging to this positive vibes only sort of movement and wondering why it's not working, this is for you. So stick around until the end of the video because I'm going to give you a grounded, science-backed framework that will flip the very way you think about personal development. And let me get this very straight to you. I'm not saying that positive thinking doesn't have its place. If you're someone that's constantly negative and you're down and depressed, then obviously remagnetizing your mental compass to point to positivity is going to help you. But I'm a strong believer in not following bullshit. So let's take a look at why I think positive thinking is overrated. Firstly, I think that the positive thinking movement is almost like opium for the masses. We've been sold on this idea that you need to be happy all the time. Think positive, stay on a high vibration. But the thing is, trying to live only in the good emotions is like trying to breathe without exhaling. It's impossible, and it's making people miserable. Because these people that promote good vibes, positive thinking only, they're lying. Because there will be some part of their life that they are not completely positive, that they are negative. But what they're doing is they're almost pulling the wool over your eyes and making you codependent on them to follow them. Because when you've tried to be completely 100% in the positive frequency all the time, more than likely you're going to fall off. And then when you fall off, you come crashing down, and then you think that you are broken. You are not broken. You are not meant to be completely positive 100% of the time. And this is just not just my opinion. It's also bred in science as well. So your brain, your central nervous system, okay, your nervous system is chemically wired to bring you back to a state of homeostasis, balance, just like your body. Okay, when you're too hot, you start to sweat. When you're too cold, you start to shiver. Your body is built for balance. Every emotion has a counterforce. Joy comes with sorrow. Success comes with setbacks. You're not supposed to be staying on a constant dopamine high all the time. Now, the problem is when you try and suppress the negative emotions, your fear, your sadness, your anger, your brain interprets that suppression as a threat. Your amygdala activates, all the blood flow comes from your prefrontal cortex down to your amygdala, where the flight or fight response is, emotional processing is, and our sort of like old brain is, where we are seeking prey or avoiding pleasure or pain or predator, should I say. So pain versus pleasure, prey versus predators. And this is not a metaphor, it's measurable. So, for example, Phelps et al. 2004 showed that even just Anticipating an emotional threat activates the amygdala. And like I said, when your blood flows into the amygdala, it's diverted away from your prefrontal cortex, which is your decision making center. That's why you lose clarity, discipline, control. It's almost like you're in a hijack state. Now, here's the important part. When you set balanced, realistic objectives, and the very word objective, mission, okay, goal, that's what an objective is. That includes all aspects, the good and the bad, the challenge and the support. That's where your prefrontal cortex lights up, where you access your higher order of thinking, like long-term planning, emotional regulation, and clarity and vision. That's where, or that's what allows you to lead rather than react. Okay, so when we're in this stress response, when we're in survival mode, when we're either seeking prey or avoiding predators, we're more reactive than we are leading. So when you work with your biology instead of against it, you return back to your forebrain, your executive function. So when people crash after trying to be positive all the time, it's not like a discipline. It's basically your biological reaction of the fantasy. Now, when I say fantasies, fantasy is when you only see one side of something. When you either only see one side of the positive, and you're constantly thinking about the positive, and you're constantly only seeing that side, that's when issues start to come into play. And we've all been in relationships that we are infatuated. We always see one side of the person, and that basically fucks us up in the long run. So these are just 4 fantasies. There are many other fantasies that when people have not incorrect or skewed versions of expectations versus reality. And Byron Katie says that, the biggest cause of people's friction, pain, is their argument with reality of what is. So my favorite one, and I get this a lot when clients come and see me, okay, they always expect the results to be like plain sailing, like to completely smash every single week. Life isn't plain sailing, okay? Life isn't meant to be plain sailing. We go through contrast. Just like muscles need resistance to build strength, your character and capacity expand through challenge. Expecting constant ease sets you up for emotional fragility. And we've all seen this in people that have been mollycoddled by their parents and given everything and never had to strive for anything in their life. When they step out into the real world and have to fend for themselves, that's like a fresh air baseball bat after you've come out of a pub, all right, and sucked 10 pints before, all right? It's a horrible awakening call. My next one, okay, expecting the world to support your values. Okay, now what I mean by values isn't respect, integrity, timeliness. Those are just social constructs. Every person has a list of values of how they operate their life. When they're operating at the highest values, they are disciplined, they are spontaneous, they are on fire, they don't need motivation. When people start operating on values that are low on their priority list, that's where they need external motivation. Each individual has separate values. To think that someone should act or should do this, that, and the other is you projecting your values onto that other person. Some people will have linked values, some people won't. So, by you expecting everyone else to support your values, you are, in fact, arguing with reality. And we've all been in that position before, where you thought someone should do something, but they haven't. Like indicated before they moved into the lane in front of you, and you thought they've done that to you, specifically to you, when you have no idea what else is going on in their life. All right, but that's a bit of a tangent. Next one. Expecting, happiness without sadness. Positive emotions feel good, but they don't exist in a vacuum. Every rise comes with a dip. When you demand only one side of your emotional spectrum, you ignore how the brain and life actually work. Last one. Oh, God. PowerPoint's messed up. Technology, absolutely brilliant. I've spelt the whole environment now. Last one. Expecting to live outside your values. And again, we've all done this. We've all got into a relationship and left everything behind, or tried to leave everything behind to coincide with someone else's values. And that is a major, major problem with some relationships, some friendships, because you're almost selling a part of you away for something else. Now, obviously, we need compromise in certain situations, but understanding each other's values and how each other fits into those values is an important part of growth and maintaining relationships. So let's have a look at what to do instead of being one-sided and instead of expecting all these fantasies to come true. Well, true fulfillment doesn't come from avoiding the lows. It comes from integrating the full spectrum of emotion. Here's what to aim for. Real confidence from integration of both pain and pleasure. Real growth from adaptation from that pain. Real power from clarity and alignment. If you're emotionally exhausted, if you're stuck in burnout or riding the roller coaster of mood swings, this is the work. Not more motivation, not more mindset hacks, just realignment of how your nervous system, your brain, and your values actually work. So the framework, as I promised, the framework, and something that I like to coach with, is one, ditch the positive thinking. And what I mean by that is you holding your spotlight completely on the positives, the wins. Yes, I must win. I must do this. I must do that. I must achieve. I must. It's fucking exhausting. And you can't win every single day. Yes, there are things that you can do to try and get the result, but the result might not come that week because of factors outside of your control. A lot of people, especially high-performing individuals, they like to think they can control every single part of their life. Doesn't happen. Number two, don't chase happiness. Happiness is a fucking illusion. Chasing happiness will make you more unhappy. It's an emotion. It's bound by the law of impermanence. It's not something that can be there 24/7. It comes and goes, just like the fucking English weather, which, by the way, it's miserable right now as I'm recording this. You need to build a mission that matters. Your personal mission. Throughout our military careers, we're always working towards some sort of mission. Your life shouldn't be any different. And in fact, most people put their work in front of their life mission. Trade, this is number 3, trade passion, which literally means to suffer. So when you love something, when you have passion, and I think it's Latin, passion, for suffer, you accept both negative and positive. For those that are married and love their partner, fucking hell, you definitely have seen the positive and negatives. But you are still there because you love them, because you're not infatuated with them, because you don't think they're one-sided. This goes into like where you put your focus and attention as well, because we can all choose to focus on the negatives and be more negative, and we can all choose to focus on the positives. But when you're inspired by your mission, when it impacts other people, that's the route that you need to go down, or you should go down, according to my humble opinion. Lastly, no, second to last, got 2 more for you. Number 4, expect setbacks, strategize for them, and just take it like water off a duck's back. Because I can guarantee for every win that you get, you will have either one loss or a multitude of losses. Think about athletes that you've seen. Your favorite sports person. All the media project, or all you see is the game that they play and the winning goal. You haven't seen the fucking million of goal attempts in practice, in training that they've missed to get that good. So setbacks are a part of life. They fucking hurt, but they teach us. Last one. This is a big one. Build your identity around your highest values, not someone else's validation. Because that is going to be a harsh come down when your central nervous system and your brain, when life brings you back into equilibrium. This is value-based living. And when you're in alignment with your highest values, and if you don't know what your highest values are, then message me, because I've got a awesome tool that you can use completely free. And stop trying to feel good all the time. Now, if you are stuck, struggling to break the cycle, and you've tried to smash your bad habits, but you've tried everything under the sun, I'm running a free webinar on the 14th of May called Breaking the Cycle. This is going to give you the root cause analysis of most people's struggles when they come to breaking bad habits. And I'm going to give you a framework that I use with all my clients to help them change their identity and become the best versions of themselves. The link to sign up is in the show notes somewhere. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll send it to you. If not, thank you very much for paying attention, and I'll see you next week. Toodaloo.